Good morning and welcome to the Mobile Device Manager Plus training program. Let me introduce myself. I am Alice Selvin, a product specialist at ManageEngine, and I will be your trainer for today. I'm conducting this webinar from my home, so I would request you to excuse any background noises or connectivity issues that we might face during the session. If you have any doubts or questions, please feel free to post them on chat, as we have a panel of experts who are waiting to answer your questions. This is a 3-week training program designed to help you understand the features and benefits of Mobile Device Manager Plus. We are currently on week 2, where we will be discussing app management, right from the distribution to the installation of apps, and also showing you how you can ensure security on all of your devices. In last week's session, we talked about the different enrollment methods using which you could bring your devices under the management of MDM and also provision them to make sure that they're ready to access corporate data. In next week's session, we'll cover the components. In case you have missed a session, you can view a recording of the same found in the link given below. We will start off with an overview of Mobile Device Manager Plus, which will include a general introduction to the product and the prerequisites involved. The next section will be on application management, where we will explain how you can install, uninstall, and even update apps, either manually or without any user intervention. We'll also see how you can test and deploy your in-house developed apps. We will then move on to see how you can secure the data on your devices by blocking certain apps and web content, locking down your devices to run only on a specified set of apps. You can see how you can remotely troubleshoot your devices in case of any device issues. We'll see how you can schedule, automate, and even restrict your OS updates, and also achieve location-based compliance by using geofencing. Since mobile devices are compact and can get easily misplaced or lost, we will take a look at how you can secure the data on these devices in case they are lost. We will then conclude the session with a few scenarios that you might have come across in your organization and talk about solutions for the same. So let's dive into the overview of Mobile Device Manager Plus. Mobile Device Manager Plus supports smartphones and tablets running on Apple, Android, and Windows. In the case of Apple, we provide support for macOS and tvOS devices. And as for Windows, we provide support for Windows 10 laptops, desktops, and Surface Hubs as well. We are also one of the few MDM solutions that provide support to manage Chromebooks as well. Mobile Device Manager Plus is available as an add-on to Desktop Central, our unified endpoint management solution. This product is available on premises and on cloud. If you are looking to manage only your mobile devices, you can opt for the standalone version of our product, also available on premises and on cloud. Suppose you are an MSP, we would suggest that you try out the MSP version of Mobile Device Manager Plus, which is also available on premises and on cloud, and has a few MSP-specific features like customer segregation and your multi-tenant architecture. Now, we understand that your organization would require to closely integrate along with other applications to function with MDM. So, we have integrated with a few help desk management solutions like Spiceworks, Jira Service Desk, Zendesk Support, ServiceNow, and our in-house help desk management software, Service Desk Plus. In addition to this, we also integrate along with Zoho CRM and Zoho Creator, using which you can create custom applications and then deploy them to your devices using MDM. In case you have any other applications that you would like to integrate along with MDM, you can view a list of the publicly available APIs provided in the link given below. So this is the Mobile Device Manager Plus architecture, and it consists of three main components: the MDM server, the notification services, and your managed devices. So first, the MDM server will contact the notification services. That is your Apple push notification service for Apple, Firebase cloud messaging for Android, and your Windows notification services for Windows. Now these notification services will then wake up the devices, and the devices will then in turn contact the MDM server for any tasks that need to be done on them. Now, since your devices will not always remain in the same network, you need to NAT your internal IP address with a public IP address. And as this might raise a few security concerns in your organization, we allow you to optionally configure a secure gateway so that all of the communication that happens between your managed devices and the MDM server will be routed through the secure gateway. In case you are using the cloud version of our product, you do not need to configure any of these settings. Mobile Device Manager Plus also integrates with a few directory services such as Azure AD, Okta, and G Suite. Now, all of the communication that I just spoke about is facilitated by the use of ports. For instance, for the device to be able to communicate along with the MDM server, the port 9383 needs to be kept open. Similarly, these are a few other ports that we use for communication. To view a full list of all of the ports that we use at MDM, you can access the link given below. So this is a question that you might have had. How does MDM manage devices? In the case of Apple, Windows, and Chrome devices, we manage these devices using the native client present on them. But for your Android devices, you need to install the MEMDM app on these devices to be able to manage them. So now let's have a walkthrough of the product console to help you navigate through the session better. So we are now on the MDM console, and we're currently on the Home tab, where you can see the number of devices that you have enrolled into MDM, devices that have lost contact with the server, devices that are yet to be enrolled, and similar details. Over here, we have a graphical representation of the types of devices being managed, say a smartphone, tablet, or a laptop, and the platforms that these devices are running on. Here we have a summary of applications based on whether they have been allowed or restricted on devices. Now all of the activity on the MDM server is recorded under the audit log feed here. So the device management module is what we'll be dealing with extensively today. And here you can see the devices and the groups that they've been assigned to. Profiles are policies or restrictions that you can apply to your devices. The app repository is where we will be adding and distributing all of the apps to our devices. You can automate your app updates and your OS updates, push certificates to devices, and manage the content on them as well. You can use the announcements tool to remotely notify your users about any important information. And in case there are any device issues, you can use the remote control tool to initiate a troubleshooting session. We also allow you to secure access to your Exchange server and your Office 365 apps, and even execute location-based commands by using a geofence policy. On the Inventory tab, you can get granular details about your devices, the applications on them, and also track the location of your devices in real time. You can scan your devices regularly to ensure that they always stay in contact with the MDM server. This is a new feature that we have introduced, and it allows you to monitor and track the battery level of your devices. On the Enrollment tab, you can see a list of all of the devices that you have brought under management into MDM and the different enrollment methods that you can use to enroll your Apple, Android, Windows, and Chrome devices. You can use MDM to define certain reports for your devices based on the applications on them, or even by the device's model, and schedule them to be mailed to you. You can also create your own custom query reports. The Admin tab is where you can set up your product by configuring your NAT, proxy, and mail server settings, and other configurations like your privacy, security, and database settings. If you click on the Support tab, you will see that we have a variety of blogs, how-tos, and similar resources that can help you gain a better understanding of our product. While using our product, if you face any issues, you can contact a live technician or call the toll-free number to help your issue get resolved. So now that we've had a walkthrough of the product console, let's get back to the session to see how you can manage your apps. So in this section, I will be showing you how you can install and manage all of your business applications. So let's say I am the IT admin of an organization called Zilker. And at Zilker, we use mobile devices for our day-to-day purposes. So as an IT admin, it would be my duty to see to it that all of these devices have the required set of applications installed on them. And I'm going to add and distribute applications to these devices by using Mobile Device Manager Plus. So this is how app management works in MDM. The first step is to create an app repository on the MDM server. You can do this by adding your store apps and your enterprise apps. Once you have added the apps to the repository, you can then go ahead and distribute them to your devices, after which the installation process will be initiated from the respective stores. As for your enterprise apps, the installation process will be initiated from the MDM server itself because we would be directly uploading our enterprise apps there. So now let's head back to the MDM console and see how we can add and distribute apps to devices. Click on the Device Management tab and select App Repository. So this is where we will be adding and distributing all of our applications to our devices. As you can see, I already have added a few apps here, and now I'm going to show you how you can add a new one. Click on the Add App option, and I'm choosing to add an Apple Store app. So over here, you will have to enter in the name of the app that you're looking for. I'm choosing to look for the Zoho Books app. Click on the app. And now what has happened is the MDM server has contacted the Apple Store to fetch the required app details, which is why the bundle identifier, the app version, the Apple Store ID, and the category of the app have been automatically filled in. Since this is filled in, click on Next. So these are a few app policies that we recommend you keep enabled. The first policy is to remove the application once the MDM profile gets removed. So let's say a user has revoked management from a device. In that case, this app will get automatically removed as well. The second app policy is to restrict the backup of data on iTunes and iCloud. Both of these app policies are mainly to ensure that no important corporate app data gets retained on your devices. So once you keep these app policies as enabled, click on Next. And here you can manage any functionalities on the application by using app configurations. All you need to do is upload an app configuration data file here. Please note that these app configurations need to be provided by your app developer. So once you have uploaded these, click on Save to add this app to the repository. So now that this app has been added to the repository, we can go ahead and distribute it to your groups and devices. Click on Groups and Devices, select the Devices tab, and you can use this filter to filter out your devices based on the platform that they're running on or the device type. I am choosing to filter out all of my Apple devices. Select the device that you're going to distribute this app to and click on Action. Click on Distribute Apps. And you can either choose to look for the app manually here or make use of the filters that we have provided. Select the app that we just added and click on Distribute it to the app catalog. I will be explaining silent app installation in a few minutes. So you can enable this option to notify your users through an email once you have distributed the app. Click on Select to distribute the app. So now let's see how this looks on the device end. On the device, your user will have to open the MeMDM app and click on App Catalog. In the App Catalog, any application that I have distributed through MDM will be listed here. The user needs to click on Install, and they will be prompted to sign in to their iTunes account. Once they enter in the iTunes credentials and click on OK, the installation process will be initiated. And once the app is installed, your end user can go ahead and make use of this app on the device. So the method of installation that we just took a look at is called manual installation of apps. And these are a few conditions that need to be met for this method. First, every device should be provisioned with a valid iTunes account. And also, a bit of user intervention is needed to finish this entire app installation process. However, this might not be feasible for every organization. Let's say you do not want your users to intervene in this app installation process. So for this, Mobile Device Manager Plus allows you to silently install apps on your devices. So you can automate the entire app installation process by making use of Apple Business Manager for your iOS devices or Manage Google Play for your Android devices. So both of these methods will help you facilitate silent app installation. The prerequisites that need to be met for silently installing your apps. First, you need to create an account with Apple Business Manager or an account with Google. Second, your devices should be supervised. Supervising your Apple devices gives you advanced control over them, and we discussed this in the previous week's session. In case you had missed that session, you can access the recording in the link that we provided earlier. Or if you're still confused about which enrollment method to choose, we can schedule a personalized demo for you at your request. The last prerequisite is that your devices should be running on Android 5.0 or a version above it. So this is how silent app installation works in MDM. First, you need to integrate the portals, that is your ABM portal or your Manage Google Play portal, along with the MDM server. Once you have done this, you can then go ahead and approve or purchase apps on the respective portals. These apps will then get automatically added to your app repository because of the integration that we would have done earlier. So now that your apps are in the repository, you need to distribute them to your devices, after which they will get silently installed on the devices. So now, let's see how you can silently install apps for your Apple devices. To do this, we need to integrate Apple Business Manager along with the MDM server. In case you have not yet integrated it, this is how it will appear on the MDM server. So Apple Business Manager is a free program that will ease the process of distributing and installing apps on your Apple devices. So you will have two options, either to configure apps for business or click on Configure Apps for School. In case you are a school or any other educational institution, you can click on Configure Apps for School. For now, I am choosing to click on Configure Apps for Business. So the first step is to log in to the Apple Business Manager portal. So on the ABM portal, click on Settings and select Apps and Books. So towards your right corner, you will see a list of server tokens. So you need to download one of these server tokens and then go back to the MDM server and upload it there. I am choosing to download the server token of my head office. So once I download this, I can upload the server token here. You can then choose your app installation type. You can choose to install your apps without the need for an Apple ID or with a prompt for an Apple ID. Since I want this process of installation to be seamless and without any user intervention, I'm clicking on Without Apple ID. So similar to the APNS certificates that we discussed in last week's session, your server tokens also need to be renewed once a year. So you can provide an email ID here to be notified when your server token is about to expire. Click on Upload Token to finish your integration process. So once it's been integrated, All of your server token details will be displayed here like this, along with when it is going to expire. So now that we have integrated ABM along with Mobile Device Manager Plus, you can head on back to the ABM portal to add your applications. Under Apps and Books, enter in the name of the app that you are looking for. I have chosen to look for the Zoho CRM app. Click on the app, and as you can see, this app is free of cost. However, I need to get licenses for the number of devices that I'm going to distribute this app to. These licenses are location specific and can be transferred from one server token to another. You also need to check whether this app is device assignable. Only if the app is device assignable can you silently install it on your Apple devices. So once you have entered in the number of licenses that you require, click on Get to add the app. Now, once a day, the MDM server will initiate a sync along with ABM to add all of your apps. However, if you want to immediately add all of your applications to the repository, click on Sync Apps and select Sync VPP Apps. So this will add all of your applications that you add through MDM through the app repository. So now that we have added our apps, you can go ahead and distribute it silently to your groups and devices. Click on the Devices tab. Let me filter out my Apple devices. Click on the device that you're going to distribute the app to, select Action, and click on Distribute Apps. Click on the app that we just added, and this time you will have to specify the installation type as Silent Installation. Click on Select to distribute the app. So now let's see how this looks on the device end. As you can see, the installation process here has been initiated without any requirement or any specific prompt for an Apple ID. So once this app is installed, your user can use it on the device. So a recommendation from our side would be to make sure that the device is connected to a Wi-Fi network whenever you're distributing an app that's larger than 200 MB in size. This is because Apple restricts the download of apps if they're larger than 200 MB over a mobile data network. So we just saw how you could silently install apps for your Apple devices. And let's see how you can do the same for your Android devices. To do this, we need to integrate Manage Google Play along with MDM. Click on App Repository, and next to the Apple App Management tab, select Manage Google Play. In case you have not yet integrated it with the MDM server, this is how it will look. So you can either choose to register yourself using a G Suite account if you already have one, or register yourself without G Suite account by using a personal Google account that has been associated with your organization. Please note that the features that you get, even if you use a G Suite account or not, will be the same. So I am choosing to click on Register without G Suite this time. Click on Configure Now, and you will be redirected to the Google Admin Console. On the Google Admin Console, click on Get Started and enter in the name of your organization. The EMM provider will be automatically filled in as ManageEngine EMM. Click on Next. And because of the implementation of GDPR, you will need to enter a few contact details. So provide the details about your data protection officer and your EU representative, agree to the terms and conditions, and click on Confirm. Click on Complete Registration, and your integration process is done. So your Manage Google Play details will be displayed here as such, along with the type of Google account you have used and your enterprise ID. So now that we have integrated Manage Google Play with MDM, we can go ahead and add our apps. To do this, click on the Add Apps option, and an iframe will be rendered. So once your iframe is rendered, You can enter in the name of the app that you're looking for. So once you enter the name of your app that you're looking for, you will have to approve the application to add it to your repository. After you approve the application, you will be asked how you would like to handle any new permissions from that app. So anytime a new permission is requested for the application, you can be notified about that permission. So let me show you an app that has already been added through Manage Google Play. So this app has some permissions here. So let's take a look at how you can update the permissions for this. Click on the Permissions tab. And as you can see, these are the permissions that this app will have access to. So what you can do is, you can go ahead and allow or restrict certain permissions from being modified by the user. You can also choose to give the user control over a few permissions. So once you have updated these, click on Save to update permissions for the application. So now that we have updated permissions, let's see how we can distribute an app that has been added through Manage Google Play. Click on Devices. Let me filter out my Android devices. Select the device that you're going to distribute the app to and click on Distribute Apps. Click on the app, and this time we will be choosing Silent App Installation. Click on Select to automatically distribute this app to the device. So let's see how this looks on the device end. So a work account has been created on the app because of the integration between Manage Google Play and MDM. So after this work account gets created, the installation process will be initiated. And once the app is installed on the device, it will be denoted with an orange briefcase symbol. This denotes that it is a corporate application. And this will also help you segregate between your personal and corporate workspace. So about the permissions that I just mentioned, since we configured those permissions there, as you can see here, I have given the user access to modify a few and denied him from using these permissions. So this is how you can silently install apps on your Android devices and also manage the permissions for it. So every application that you will be using on your devices will get frequent app updates. Along with an app update can come along a new set of features or enhancements. So we always recommend that you update your application to the latest version. This is because the latest version of the app could be the fix for any existing security problems or any issues affecting productivity. To control your app updates, they need to be purchased through Apple Business Manager and should be device assignable. So now let's see how you can manage your app updates. So click on the app repository. Beneath the app repository, you will have an option to automate your app updates. So in case you enable this option and click on Save, the MDM server will carry out a check once a day on the App Store, Play Store, and Windows Business Store to look for any app updates that are available and then automatically update them on the devices. However, if you want to be aware of what these new features come along with an app update are, in that case, click on the app repository option, and here a message will be displayed showing you the number of apps that have updates available. Click on this number, and this will show you a list of all of the applications which have updates ready to be distributed. So let's say I want to update the Google Maps app on my devices. So click on the app, and this will show you the number of devices that you have distributed this app to. Click on the number and select Update on a single device. We always recommend that you update the application on a single device, preferably your test device, before deploying the update to your rest of the devices. So you can either choose to distribute this update to the app catalog or automatically install it on your devices. Click on Update App to update it on this device alone. So you can then go and verify how this update is functioning on that particular device, and then return to the MDM server and click on the Update All option to distribute this app to whichever device it is available on. Click on Update App to update the app on the rest of the devices. So a lot of organizations rely on using enterprise apps. And these are a few questions that you might have had when it comes to managing your in-house developed apps. First, is an account with Apple Business Manager or Manage Google Play mandatory? No, you do not require a separate account in order to manage your in-house developed apps. And the second question, can we test the apps before deployment? Yes, Mobile Device Manager Plus allows you to test out enterprise applications on devices before you deploy them to the rest of your devices. The prerequisites that need to be met to manage your enterprise apps are: for your iOS devices, your devices should be supervised. For your Android, devices should either be Samsung devices or should have been provisioned as device owner. The device owner setting is similar to that of a supervised device for your Android devices, and we talked about this in the previous week's session. So now, let's see how you can manage your enterprise apps. To do this, click on Add App. And as you can see, we support adding Apple, Android, Windows, and Chrome enterprise apps. For now, I am choosing to add an Android enterprise app. Click on Upload File to directly upload your enterprise app file here. So once you upload your file, the MDM server will fetch the required app details from this file. So once the app details are fetched, as you can see, the bundle identifier and the app version of the app will get automatically filled in. So I can then choose the category of this app and also the devices that I want it to be supported for. Click on Next, and you can also manage certain functions on the app itself by using app configurations. These app configurations should be provided by your app developer. So once you finish adding your app configurations, click on Save to add this app to your repository. So once this app is added to your repository, you can then go ahead and distribute it to your groups and devices. Again, we always recommend that you distribute this app to a test device to see how it functions before distributing it to the rest of your devices. So select the device that you're going to distribute this in-house app to and click on Distribute Apps. Click on the app that we just added, choose the method of installation, and click on Select to distribute the app. So now that this app has been distributed, let's say there is a higher version of the app that is available and you want to add this to your repository as well. In that case, click on Add App, choose Android Enterprise App, select Upload File, and upload the new version of the app that you have available. So once you have uploaded this file, the MDM server will again take a look at and fetch the required app details from this new file. So once the app details have been fetched, this version will be detected as the beta version. Please note that the previous version of the app that we uploaded and this beta version can coexist in the app repository. Click on Update to add the beta version to the MDM server. So once this beta version has been added, you can then go ahead and distribute it to your devices. Click on Distribute App, select your devices, and click on Distribute App. So you can then go and verify how this beta version is functioning on these devices. But let's say there are a few errors that you have found on this device. on this application and you want to replace the beta version. In that case, click on the Replace Beta Version option here and upload a file where you have corrected all of the errors. So once this file gets uploaded, it will be marked as another beta version and it will replace the existing beta version that you previously uploaded. Click on Update to replace the beta version in your app repository. So now that the beta version has been replaced, you can then go ahead and update this on your devices. And once you are certain that this update is functioning the way you want it to, you can return to the MDM console and mark it as a stable version. This stable version can be distributed to the rest of your groups and devices, either by pushing it to your app catalog from where your users will have to install it, or you can silently install the beta version or choose to distribute it later. So this is how we allow you to manage your in-house developed apps. So far, we have seen how you can add, distribute, and even update applications on your devices. But what if there are certain applications that you do not want your users to install? These apps could be ones that you consider malicious or you think might hinder productivity in your work environment. So you can prevent users from installing such apps by creating a profile for it. Under the Device Management tab, click on Profiles and click on Create a Profile. Let's create an Android profile this time. So provide a name for your profile and click on Continue. Click on the Restrictions tab and select Applications. So first option here says users can install unapproved apps. So you can go ahead and restrict this option so your users will be prevented from installing any unapproved apps. They will not be able to install any apps apart from the ones that I pushed through MDM. So once you've clicked on Restrict, click on Save and publish your profile. So once your profile has been published, you can then apply it to your groups and devices. Click on Groups and Devices. Select the devices that you're going to associate the profile to. I am choosing these two groups. Click on Action and click on Associate Profile. Select the profile that we just created and click on Select. So since this profile has been associated with these groups, the users can no longer install any approved apps. But what if there are a few apps that are already available on devices and you want to remove them from the devices? In that case, click on the Inventory tab and click on Apps. So this will show you a list of all of the applications that are available on your devices. So click on Settings and you can configure how you would like to block this app from the devices. You can choose to either uninstall the application immediately from the device, or notify your users and then uninstall the app, or notify your users that you're going to uninstall it. So once you have configured your settings here, click on Discovered Apps and select the applications that you want to block. So these are the applications that I'm selecting. Click on Block List App and select whether you would want to remove this app either from all of the devices or from specific groups and devices. Select the groups and click on Block List. So once you successfully blocklist the app, it will be removed from the devices and your users can no longer install them. So we just took a look at how you can prevent users from installing or using specific apps. But what if the same applications are available as web services? You definitely would not want your users to have access to such websites. So you can prevent this by creating a profile for it. Click on Profiles and click on Create a Profile. Let's create an iOS profile this time. Provide a name for your profile and click on Continue. Click on the Web Content Filter tab, and you need to note that this is applicable if your devices are supervised. So you can choose to either allow certain URLs only or block a list of URLs. So let's say I do not want my users to have access to YouTube. So I can enter in the URL here and click on Save. Apple also allows you to restrict certain inappropriate content on your devices. If you want that, you can click on Enable here. So you can save and publish your profile and then associate it with your groups and devices. By doing so, the users can no longer access the URLs that you've specified in this filter. So the next question, how can you allow only specific apps on your devices? So some organizations might want to use their devices as point of sale devices or as digital signage. So in that case, you would not want your users to have access to all of the applications on the devices. So what you can do is you can lock down your devices to run only on a specified set of applications. See how you can configure the Kiosk for your devices. Click on Create a Profile. And we are creating an Android profile this time. Provide a name for your profile and click on Continue. Click on the Kiosk option. And here you can configure your basic settings. So you can choose to lock your devices to run only on a single app or on multiple apps. I am choosing to provision my devices into a multi-app kiosk mode. So since I have selected this option, I can enter in the name of the applications that I want. I am choosing to look for the Gmail and the Google Maps app. So in addition to allowing only a few apps on your devices, you can also choose to add a few web shortcuts to allow your users to have access to certain URLs alone. So provide a name for your web shortcut and enter in the URL that you want them to access. So you can then click on Save, and you can also choose to open this URL either in a browser or a browser with restricted access. Click on Save to add your web shortcut. So we also allow you to either display your MeMDM app on the device or hide it. However, we always recommend that you show your MeMDM app on the device because this will help you initiate a sync along with the MDM server in case your device goes out of contact with the MDM server. So once you have made the necessary changes to the general settings, click on Device Restrictions. So in cases where you are planning to use your devices as digital signage, you would not want your users to tamper with the volume controls or receive any confidential notifications. So you can go ahead and set up a certain level of volume and restrict your notifications, which your users cannot modify. You can also restrict other basic functionalities on the device like your status bar, back button, and your power button. Click on the Custom Settings app as we allow you to create a custom settings application to allow your users to modify or enable certain basic settings. So you can allow Wi-Fi, brightness, mobile networks, and Bluetooth as well. We also allow you to configure your home screen layout and customize it. To do this, click on Configure Now. And you can choose to dock certain applications to the home screen and certain web shortcuts as well, and restrict the user from being able to change the position of what you have configured here. So once you have made all of the necessary changes to your Kiosk profile, click on Save and publish your application. So once you associate this profile with your groups and devices, they will get locked down into Kiosk mode. So let's see how Kiosk mode looks on your devices. So the first device here has been provisioned into single app Kiosk mode, where the Google Maps app is the only app that has been running on the device. Your users cannot exit this app. On the other hand, the second device has been provisioned into multi-app Kiosk mode. As you can see, only the specified applications are available on the devices, and your users will not have access to the rest of the applications or the rest of the settings. So the next question, how can you troubleshoot devices of remote users? So generally, if there are any issues with any devices that you have provided from your organization, or if the device is outside of the office with a field agent and there's an issue with the device, or simply the fact that your field agents are not too technically adept. So in such a case, you can initiate a troubleshooting session on your devices. Click on Remote Control under Tools, and here you will see a list of all of the devices that you can remotely view or control. So let's say John's device has an issue and I need to fix it. Click on the Remote Control option and select Start. So this remote session is possible because of the integration between MDM and Zoho Assist. So once I click on Start, a prompt will be sent to the user's device, which they need to accept. Once they accept the prompt, I will be able to view the device screen here. So now the user has accepted the prompt and the support session is starting. So once the support session has begun, I will be able to view the device screen as such. So this device, as you can see, has been locked down into kiosk mode. So for me to be able to troubleshoot it, I need to remove it from kiosk mode first. To do this, I can use the remote chat commands provided by MDM. So first, I am entering the exit kiosk command. Once this command gets applied to the device, it will be removed out of kiosk mode. So now that this device is no longer in kiosk mode, I can click on Settings or any place where I need to troubleshoot the device. Once I am done with my troubleshooting, I can choose to put this device back into kiosk mode, for which I am using the Enter Kiosk option. Once this command gets executed on the device will be locked back into kiosk mode. So similar to these remote chat commands, MDM also allows you to remotely lock or turn off your device using the remote chat commands. So since I am done with the troubleshooting session, I can click on Exit and end the session. So the next question, how can you restrict devices from leaving a certain area? Some organizations might be strict about their security policies and would not want their devices to leave a specific area. So what you can do is, you can specify certain location-based commands to be executed on your devices in case they leave a specified boundary. You can do this using, so let's see how to do that. Click on the fence repository option under Geofencing and click on Create a Fence. Provide a name for your fence and pin up a boundary which you want to specify. We allow you to mark a fence radius and kilometers. So once your fence is created, find certain actions for devices that are this boundary. So you can choose to run your action after a day. You can choose to notify your users about the action that is going to be executed or immediately take action without any notification. So you can choose for your devices to go into a lost mode or completely wipe the data of the devices once they leave the specified boundary. So once you click on Create Policy, you can then associate one of these policies with your groups and devices. Click on Associate Groups on Devices and mention the groups here. So once this policy is associated with your groups and devices, in case any of these devices leave the specified boundary, all of the actions that you've specified here will be applied to it. So this section will be on OS updates, which are very important for your devices. So there are a few disadvantages of running an outdated OS version. First, you might be missing out on some important security updates. And also, if you're using an older OS version, your devices will tend to get slower with time. However, if you choose to update the OS on all of your devices at the same time, this could lead to a loss of productivity because your devices will have to restart during the update. Also, your in-house developed apps might not be compatible with the OS update, and this could lead to other issues. And since you will be updating the OS on all of your devices at the same time, this will lead to bandwidth choking. So Mobile Device Manager Plus allows you to schedule and automate your OS updates. The benefits of this is that it is a one-time setup and you do not need to reconfigure any policy again. We also provide options for you to immediately deploy the OS or delay the deployment for a few days. You can also choose to notify your users about the updates and even give them the option of skipping the update for a few days. So now let's take a look at how you can automate your OS updates. So click on the Automate OS Updates option and click on Create a Policy. I'm choosing to create an Android policy. So like I mentioned, you can choose to deploy the OS on your devices either immediately or delay it for a few days. You can choose the deployment schedule based on your preferred week, day, and even time. You can enable this option to notify your users to keep them aware about the OS update. Enable this option to allow your users to skip deployment for a few days. After these days are finished, the OS update will be post-deployed on your devices. Click on Save to add this policy. So once you have added this policy, you can then distribute it to your groups and devices. Select the devices that you're going to distribute it to and click on Associate. So whenever there is an OS update available for these devices, it will get updated based on what you have configured. So this section will be on securing devices when they are lost or stolen. So since mobile devices are compact and can get easily lost or misplaced, the data on them is at risk. So let's see how you can protect the data on these devices. Click on Inventory, and under Devices, there will be a list of all of the devices that have been enrolled into MDM. So let me filter out my devices here. So let's say this is a device that has been reported missing, and I want to protect the data on it. So first I can choose to put this device into a lost mode. Click on Actions, and under Device Actions, click on Actions and select Enable Lost Mode. So over here, I can specify a contact number and a message to be displayed on the device. Once you have mentioned these, click on Next, and you can also enforce a new passcode on the device to protect any data that's on it. So once you click on Locate, this is how the device will look. The contact number and the message that I have configured will be displayed on the device. So in case anybody finds this device, they will know how to return it back into my organization. Now let's say, unfortunately, this device was not returned to my organization, and I'm concerned about the data that's on the device. So to protect it, I can either choose to completely wipe the device of all its data, or wipe only the corporate data, profiles, and settings on the device. So now let's talk about a few scenarios that you might have come across in your organization and solutions for them. The first scenario: how can we prevent users from uninstalling corporate apps on devices? So every organization would have a few apps that you consider important, and you would not want your users to be able to remove it from your devices. So to prevent users from uninstalling it, we can create a profile for it. Click on Profiles, Click on Create a Profile. Click on Continue and select Restrictions. Navigate to the Applications tab, and the second option here is for you to, it says Uninstalling Apps. So you can go ahead and restrict this option. Click on Save and publish your profile and associate it to your devices to prevent users from uninstalling applications. The second scenario, a user has reset the device and left the organization. Upon reactivating the device, we are prompted to enter the user's credentials. Can Mobile Device Manager Plus help us? So this has happened because of factory reset protection. Factory reset protection is a security feature that is enabled by default on all Android devices. This is mainly to ensure that no unauthorized access is gained to a device that has been factory reset. However, similar to this scenario, if you are an organization that reuses devices, this could be an issue because you might find yourself locked out of a device that has been reset. So to prevent this, you can create an EFRP profile. Click on the EFRP tab, and you can enter in an email ID here or your account ID here, so that even if your device has been factory reset, you can save, publish this profile and associate it with your Android devices, and then use these credentials to gain access back into your devices even after they have been factory reset. So this will ensure that you are not locked out of devices that have been factory reset. The third scenario, how can we prevent users from turning off locations on their Android devices? So let's say in organizations like your logistics and operation companies, you would not want your employees to be able to modify their location services. So let's see how we can prevent them from turning off their location services. Under the Restrictions tab, click on Location Settings. And here under Location Services, you will have three options: either to keep the location services as always on, always off, or give the user control to modify it. In this scenario, we are choosing to keep the location services as always on. Click on OK and save and publish your profile. So the last scenario, we need certain apps to be used only for a specific amount of time. Can MDM help us? So in some situations, you would not want your users to have access to certain apps at all times and only for a specified amount of time. So what you can do is you can make use of autonomous apps. Autonomous apps can be used for a specified duration till a specific task is completed. So let's see how you can do this. On the MDM console, create a profile for it. Click on Profiles. Click on Create a Profile and select iOS. Click on Continue and click on the Kiosk tab. So besides single app and multi-app options, you will see something called as autonomous apps. Click on this and specify the app name or the bundle identifier of the application. You need to note that only a few applications can be used as autonomous apps, and any configurations for the app itself need to be done on the device's app. So once you have specified your applications, click on Save and publish this profile. You can then associate this profile with your groups and devices to make use of autonomous apps. We have come to the end of our session, so you can rate us on a scale of 1 to 5, where 5 is the best, in the survey that we drop to you shortly. If you like the training, you can spread a word about us using the hashtag #MobileDeviceManagerPlus. Tune in for our next training program scheduled on the 13th of April, where we will show you modern management of your Windows 10 and Mac devices. Thank you and have a good day.